right. So I've told you how amazing the community is, and especially around HeadFi and then meeting people and becoming friends with people at Can Jams. And there's an awesome man named Goldverger. He runs the headphone edition of the water cooler. And at multiple Can Jams, excuse me, I have borrowed his Aureolus Traley, the bird, because it's a headphone, or a headphone, an IM that I truly love, and I'm want to buy in the future, but want to make sure. So he's been gracious enough. Then someone was saying, well, you need to check out the Aura. And luckily, Goldverger has one of those, so I was able to listen to it. Well, let's go to New York. And I met an awesome friend of the channel called Passion for Sound. And this wonderful human being has let me borrow his Aura so I can do a review on it and check it out. So today we will be discussing the Astell Kern X Visioneer Aura. All right, let us talk about fit and finish. So the Visioneer's Aura is one of the prettiest, I think, well-designed IMs out there. It just looks absolutely beautiful. And as far as it being heavy, it's a very light IM. Put these in. And as you can see, it's a very comfortable fit. It's a nice snug fit, can block out a lot of sound, which is nice. The cable that comes with it is a very nice cable. I think it's made from Effect Audio. And honestly, fit and finish for what it used to cost, which I believe was $4,100, it's very nice. So before we get to sound, when these came out, they were around $4,100. They're not sold anymore. They were a limited edition, and I don't honestly know how many were made of them. But they had 11 drivers in them, 2 DDs and 9 BAs. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about sound. So the Visioneer Aura. Wow. I would say some of the best mids that I've heard in any IM. There's a delicacy, there's a transparency, there's a clarity, there's resolution, there's weight, there's everything that you would want to make superb and beautiful mids. Like voices, male, female, emotion, fire, everything when it comes to just the sound that you want from a voice is there. When it comes to instruments, be it a piano, a bass, a cello, a viola, trombone, anything, sound really good. When you put the total picture together, when the bass needs to hit, it will hit. I wouldn't say there's a lot of mid bass, but there's a lot of sub bass, and when it comes in, you hear it. But more so, it's more of a leaning toward neutral when it comes to its bass response. Kind of reminds me of the Odin. When the bass is needed, boom, it's there. But when it's not, there's nice texture. It really, really sounds good. But the mids are where it's just spectacular. Listening to Michael League or Go Go Penguin, switching it up to something like Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly, Celine Dion. Like, this is one of the ones that you just want to start hitting all the. One really good one, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan. Like, it makes you want to go back and just listen to that music with how beautiful all the instrumentation is around, the presentation, because it's great separation, nice large soundstage when the recording calls for it. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those ones that just reminds me that I hate reviewing sometimes because it just sounds so good. I don't want to listen to it critically. I want to listen to it to enjoy the music. And the way it presents it is awesome. The treble is there. It's present. It's not too sparkly. I've treble sensitivity, so if it's too much, it's too much for me, but not this one. It's tastefully done. Things like Playing Gods actually sounds brilliant on these because you're not going to get that huge bass punch, but just the way the guitars sound, the separation of the guitars, it's like they're floating around you and it's awesome. And then the cymbals sound really good. So you get all that. So when it's total sound, when it comes down to this, it's just a remarkable IEM because it just does mids so beautifully. Some Will Fall, Max Richter, the dueling violins, I like calling it, with the bass and the sub bass and all that flowing. It's just spectacular. There's so many things. You Belong to Me. I like doing that test. How I test male and female vocals is there are two versions of that song, one with Carly Simon and the other one, the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald. And they're both recorded awesomely. And that's how I kind of test. And they both sound splendid on this. Like, this is an IM that you can throw anything and everything you want at it, and it's going to come back awesome. So I especially thank Passion for Sound for letting me hear these because, again, they're not sold anymore. I told you we were going to do some that are bangers and hits, not sold anymore, but do they still compete? And definitely. The Astell and Kern X Vision Ears Aura still competes, and if you can find one used, you might want to. So is this a buy? It's a hard buy, simply because they don't make these anymore, and they're highly coveted by their owners. Like, this is one of these IMs that owners are like, I'm never going to get rid of this. So every once in a while, you'll see one pop up on HeadFi and other places. I think they're around $3,500 used, maybe $3 at the lowest. But if you want to hear some of the most spectacular mids in an IM, this would definitely be a buy. Thank you for coming and seeing this video, and I will see you next time.